Good morning, Free Enterprise fans. Hi, I am Scala I am one of the members of the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise dev team and admin team. I'm so happy to welcome you all here to our showcase here at SpeedDocsAThon. We're really happy to be able to put on a wonderful show for you all. For those of you who have been following our tournament, the Highway to the Three Miss Zone, you will definitely know exactly kind of what's going on here. But if you've never seen Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, let me give you a very quick rundown. We have taken the absolutely wonderful game Final Fantasy IV, originally released in the US as Final Fantasy II. It's a beautiful story about redemption and about justice, and we have taken that story and we have tossed it out the window, and instead we have transformed the game into an open world randomizer / scavenger hunt. At the beginning of the game, our players will be handed the airship, the Enterprise, and then it is up to them to explore the world, clear out the dungeons, fight the bosses, find their key items, and get their way to Zeromus, the final boss, who might look a little different this time around. And thank you all so much for your wonderful donations to let us choose exactly what kind of form Zeromus might take today. We are going to turn it on over to our wonderful commentary team of Neon Gray and Vistasia, our wonderful runners, Gambit and microKorgs, and I'm going to go ahead, bow, and let them take over, and I hope you all enjoy our race and showcase here today.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Scala Kitty. Yes, welcome everyone to Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. Looking to get going right now. Neon, how are we doing this morning?
Well, we are not bad, I think, and certainly have an interesting looking game here out in front of us. With we've got some randomly assigned objectives for our players to solve for you today. One of these looks very easy. It's defeat the boss of the waterfall. You can do that right out of the gate as soon as it starts. That boss is available and free and very easy usually. But we also have complete the Tower of Za, which does require everybody's favorite key item, the Earth Crystal, which that can be tricky to find sometimes. Usually if you want it, it's going to take forever to find it, because that's just how it goes. But it also opens up some lovely treasure chests everybody likes to see also, because everybody wants to know what's inside the boxes. And we also have 2 static objectives here. One to complete Cave Magnus, which is, of course, our wonderful, wonderful music-bearing spot. That is going to be a lovely surprise for anybody who hasn't seen this game before. If we can get somebody to go there, that will be great. And, of course, we have a nice fallback here with forging the Legend Sword with the Adamant in the vanilla game. That'll just give you an Excalibur. That'll still give you an Excalibur here, but it'll also give you credit towards getting yourself the crystal that you need to fight Zeromus. So, very fun looking here. What do you think of these?
Now, these are absolutely fantastic flags. We only have to complete 3 of the 4 in order to be awarded the crystal to ultimately be able to defeat Zeromus and whatever his final form ends up being. This is going to be just absolutely fantastic. Lots of key items, a little bit of freebies earlier on, but that's the beauty of a randomizer. Sometimes it looks like it's going to be an easy seed, but man, does this take you on a ride to get there.
It really does, yeah.
I think our runners are about ready. The countdown will be coming shortly.
Alright, so let's get this show on the road. We'll shortly see who's going to be joining Rosa, which is another very exciting start. She's an incredibly versatile character. And, everybody loves Rosa.
Rosa is one of the 2 vanilla white mages that we're normally allowed to get, and the one with the best HP growth, and double your white mage power right there, with a mostly worthless to us for the moment defense sword to start out.
But that is going to be a great fight. Like, we got us a Kane can use that right out the gate. A Cecil can use that after promotion. Either one of those will be able to very capably use that sword just to wreck some faces.
Oh, absolutely. What did you think? The blue robe there for the that's normally Baigen. What did you think about that blue robe, and what significance does that have for us?
Well, that could be very good, or that could be very bad. What we have there is a blue robe, which can be one of two bosses. That could be either the Water Hag, which in vanilla, Edward fights that alone. In this version, he has to fight whoever's in that fight with that blue robe, that Water Hag, is going to have to hit it twice, three times, and then it just dies. Ooh, looks like there's two Palums in Mysidia, and Cecil in the Watery Pass.
Yeah, that's really interesting. In Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, with this particular flag set that we have, randomized characters will join your party wherever you normally get characters in the vanilla game. But of course, they're all shuffled and duplicates are allowed, so double your Palom fun along with the Dark Knight Cecil in the Watery Pass where you normally pick up Tella. This is, mage percent, apparently.
Right, so, as I was saying, I explained how that could be very good, that blue robe, but there's also how it could be very bad. It could be the Fabul Gauntlet, which is 5 separate encounters that you have to fight, all 5 of them, and it takes a very long time. It's just random encounter fights that just go on and on and on forever. So it's either a very quick fight or it's a very slow fight. So we might see them try to avoid Barret if they get that key there.
It's possible. Now, we do see the 2 runners, dipping into the Watery Pass to be able to loot some treasure chests there, and also going over here to Damsian. Now, with this particular flag string, we've weighted the treasures in different areas a little bit heavier for getting better loot. The idea being that we want you to go out of the way to get the top-notch, top-tier kind of gear. It's still pretty wild and random, but at the same time, we didn't want to make it too easy finding Excaliburs, right out of the gate, for example. So if you see runners going out of the way into some different locations, that's why things like the Watery Pass are very powerful in terms of where you can possibly get gear.
And that's a Cid up here in Damsian, where Edward would normally join. Now, this party already has a Cecil, so that Cid is not going to do very good. He's got a lot of hit points, though, which is perfectly fine for this stage of the game. Now, what's going on here with why a Cecil is good, or why a Cid and a Cecil together are kind of redundant. The game will peg the game's the agility, the speed of the fights, to a character's agility. If Cecil's in your party, on these settings, it'll always be Cecil. Otherwise, if there's no Cecil in your party, it'll use the middle slot. And if you've got 2 Cecil, it'll use the middlemost Cecil. So, Cid is very slow. You normally want a slow character for this. But since Cecil's going to be used no matter what in Micro's party, then that Cid's just going to be like, he's slower than Cecil, so he's going to be going even slower. It's not a good time.
In the meantime, just to get us caught up, so we saw a couple things on screen. One, that required waterfall boss for one of our objectives is going to be the fight that you normally fight Yang in the Baron in. He can hit pretty hard, and that is a relatively fast spot. So it looks like our runners noped out of that, said we'll come back and do that when it's a little bit easier. In the meantime, we are checking what's up on Mount Hobbs. Normally you get Yang there as a vanilla character, but we have Tella. Now, Tella is really, really kind of interesting in this flag set. You wouldn't normally think he'd be a fantastic character, but he is one of the most powerful characters, actually, in this particular string. Simply put, Tella being able to learn all of those spells really early on from Mount Ordeals allows us to be able to have access to that very powerful weak spell very early on in the game. That unlocks a lot of different grind options to get us to the absolute top levels that we need to be. Most importantly, in the all-important D machine grind, if we will see that coming up, we do not quite know yet, but he just makes life so much easier to get to that late game.
Yeah, he is a little less valuable on this particular iteration of the flag set, just because it's a lot more likely to find sirens, which are a major alternate grind option. But either way, he's good to have in your back pocket.
Meanwhile, we are seeing on microKorgs' side of the screen, he took some time to go ahead and unequip Rosa with the bow and arrow, equip it onto Sid very, very quickly, and then unequip him back on. That is due to a very special glitch that is in the Final Fantasy IV stack, in that as soon as you have a ranged weapon equipped on a person, they don't even have to use it, it puts the back row bit on, which means that they will no longer deal half damage or less damage from the back row. They'll do their full damage, even if it's not a back row weapon any further.
Yeah, it's a hilarious little bug with that, because, you know, ordinarily you'd think, yeah, while I'm using a bow and arrow, I should do full damage, but it just never unsets the tick mark that's like, yep, this person's doing full damage from the back row.
Meanwhile, we do have kind of a traditional early game option here. The Antlion Cave, normally it's just Cecil, Rydia, and Edward, lower level characters, so it's something that's pretty easily doable depending on your party setup. And with a level 20 Sid in microKorgs' party at this point in time, should make pretty easy work at this point. But this boss is Odin.
That should be fine. Obviously, the deal with Odin is that if the fight goes on too long, he will do a kill shot on you. It's in some spots it's possible to survive. You're not going to do that with starting game hit points, but there's only 1,000 hit points at this slot. That's not going to come up. We're just going to kill him.
Yeah, able to pump out quite a bit of damage. It's got a low HP area, so able to get through it. Not a ton of experience for this party, which is fine. Perfectly fine. But our first key item is Wind Harp.
You love to see it, people.
I mean, in addition to it being one of our objectives, obviously, one of the donation incentives that we had earlier on that has been completed now is donation to see what kind of music we're going to hear. One of the key things that we do in the Final Fantasy IV free enterprise community is randomize that wonderful harp song that Edward plays to break the spell over the Dark Elf. So we shall see what the incentive was and what music we'll be playing here directly.
Yes, but not quite yet, because we're not taking that fight for a while. We need a bit more oomph.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see some other early game options. It does look as though Micro is heading over to Fakul to do the defend area. There is a key item that's available after that. Might also see a dip down to Mount Ordeals. He kept his Cecil, and you want to get your Tella online relatively quickly as possible, and you gotta go through that whole Mount Ordeal sequences, 3 bosses and then a small cutscene to really get him online.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to head down to Ordeals after we're done here in Fabul. And we did see the Korgs pick up a Soma Drop for Tella, which is very interesting. Soma Drop is an item that only appears in the Japanese version. We have it implemented on this side as well. So what that will do is that will increase your maximum magic points by 10. Now, Tella has only 90 magic points, which is an inconvenient number. It locks off a very, very powerful spell that he learns when you do mount ordeals. That spell is Meteor, and in the story, of course, he can't cast Meteor because he would die if he did that. But it turns out he just needed a little more magic points.
I wouldn't call it a spell even when you use Summon Drop is not something that's used terribly frequently with Tella, mostly for swag points. And if there's one thing that we know about internet culture at all, we all love the swag.
I mean, yeah.
Meanwhile, the Dark Knight Cecil was our boss to defend Fabul, which is a really kind of great storyline spot for that.
Oh. Did you see what Fabul just gave us?
I did. That is the most the most common powerful weapon in the game, the Crystal Sword. And microKorgs has kept his Cecil. Meanwhile, Gambit ditched Cecil earlier. Crystal Sword Cecil is nice.
Did he ditch the Cecil, or did he just not pick him up? Because if that Cecil's still waiting in the watery pass, we might see him go and pick him up.
I'm fairly certain he was dismissed.
Oh no.
I mean, there's still a possibility of another Cecil, but oftentimes we'll see runners hang on to a Cecil. Let's see. We have a Porum available as we're starting the climb over here on Micro's side.
Home.
Yeah, inferior white mage. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Porum's got her points, but we've got 2 roses. We do not need a Porum.
The one advantage that Porum does have over Rosa is that she naturally learns the exit spell, which, as you can imagine, is pretty nifty for getting you out of tight situations. The problem, unfortunately, is that her HP growth is not good. It's one of the worst in the game.
Yeah, and Tella already knows exit. He starts the game knowing it. That's another stealth, really nice thing about him. We do not need what Porum is bringing to the table.
Meanwhile, first boss up on Mount Ordeals is going to be the Magus Sisters. Now, all of the enemies in their randomized spots maintain their weaknesses. They just kind of have the HP and the stats of whatever the location is. So if we would happen to have, for example, an Elven Bow or Mute Arrows or something that does extra damage against mages, this would be fantastic right at the moment. But I don't know if we have anything like that.
I do not think we do, so we're just gonna have to fight them normally.
And while we're going through, I do want to, thank SpeedDocsAThon, and it does look like we are getting close to the goal of $3,000 donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise community, and everyone else out there watching. Can we push ourselves over the edge of the goal? We are within $200 of the goal. I would love to see this community go ahead and get us over goal. So I'm just putting that out there, guys. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah, let's help out those kids.
So both runners are on the same fight right now. A little bit different party setups. We got kind of the quad mage setup over here from Gambit, and a couple mage setup, but that Cecil is about to come online before too long.
Yeah, that is going to be very exciting, because Cecil does reset to level 1 once you turn him into a paladin. But even a level 1 Cecil with the Crystal Sword, he's doing quad-digit damage already.
Oh, here's the Dark Elf. This is the actual Dark Elf fight that we have to go through. Now, this particular instance of the Dark Elf, it really has some interesting mechanics associated with it, because the first phase of the Dark Elf is just like any other boss. But then you get to the second phase and he turns into a dragon, and a lot of things change, doesn't it?
Yeah, because at that point, the game just treats him like a regular enemy. Now, what that means is you can do things like stop him or use the weak spell, which will reduce its hit points to a single digit. Or if you have dragon killing equipment, that will just completely destroy this thing. In this case, we don't have a lot of tools that will do the fancy stuff to it, so we're just gonna have to beat him down the normal way. This is actually kind of a really annoying boss to fight in this location, just because, as we saw, it, because of the back attack, it does get a fair few attacks right out of the gate, which is annoying. Oh, we are going to see the stop spell come out, which is going to hit, and now that dragon is just going to sit there and politely let us beat it to death.
That's very nice of that dragon to be like, oh, okay, here, please kill me quickly. And we do get through that fight. Meanwhile, Gambit is on the fight as well. Let's see if he'll do similar strats. But now we come to the nice part, the Cecil transformation for Micro.
Yeah, this is going to be the good stuff right here. Like, even if there's nothing good from this key item spot, this is game changing right here. And that's a hook, so there's a very good chance this is mandatory.
Yeah, we're starting to run out of other spots, but with Crystal Sword Cecil, I don't know. I might even be tempted to go and do Twin Harp early right now. Just hunt that Magma Key.
Oh, and there's a blue robe. Is this, oh, it's the Water Hag. That's actually really disappointing for this particular spot, because this spot also only has 1,000 hit points. It drops very, very quickly. So having such an easy boss here is kind of annoying, kind of a waste. But but now Korgs does know, and Gambit will also soon know, that the Baron Castle houses the Fabul Gauntlet, which means we're going to see them avoid it as much as possible.
Absolutely, it's going to be kind of a interesting spot anyway. The blue robe was a gamble. The problem with the Fabul Gauntlet is what we've done. It's not the traditional gauntlet. It does take 5 random enemy encounters from what would be nearby locations. So in that particular spot, it would be from that kind of underground pass, and they just take a long time. It's just a waste of time. Honestly, it's not fun.
Yeah, like, you know, you just sit there in a spot like that. You're just holding A the whole time, and you know, maybe hoping your cat comes by so you can pet him while the fight just goes on autopilot.
All right, so Micro has done, on their way now over here. Going to check out Mysidia. Now, this is interesting because Micro did not come to Mysidia to check out the players first, which is double Palums. And we did see that Gambit looks like avoided double Palums in order to keep double Rosas for his Tela. These are some really interesting party comps that are going on between these two right now.
Yeah, like, there are some very different choices going here, and I think that is very interesting to see. I just need to adjust right here.
So I'll be interested to see what, if any, decisions microKorgs ends up making. Palom is one of those characters that's really handy, and he says no to both of them.
Oh. That's very interesting, because with that Sid in play, that's...
You gotta feel confident with Crystal Sword Cecil.
It's true, it's true.
That answers a lot of questions. Cecil is one of the characters that a lot of folks, have traditionally dumped simply because of that agility manipulation that you spoke about earlier and wanting to make sure that everything's lined up perfectly for the Zero Miss fight. But Crystal Sword Cecil says, I laugh at your agility and I just do what I want to do.
Yeah, that is a lot of power there. Even with Zero Miss, a Crystal Sword Cecil, you can kind of power through the agility situation there. It's a little bit harder if you don't manage that correctly, but it's pretty much doable at any speed if you have that sword.
Meanwhile, Micro is going to come back and say, I remember not liking, this particular karate fight at the time, but with your Cecil online, you just have to wait until he does some kicks, and even if you don't kill him in one shot, it becomes a free fight.
Yeah, it'll just auto-kill right there, like that.
And that was quad damage, over 1,000 damage from a level 1 Cecil with a Crystal Sword.
And that is our first objective of the race complete. And we're going to see our first look into the town of Barron here.
Yeah, Baron, is something that has a few items that you can check, but honestly, they're not weighted terribly well. There is another Palom, so this seed wanted us to have some black mages. Hello, Wyvern.
Not a big problem here, though. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, that's... So Wyvern casts Mega Nuke to start, and I don't care how low of a magic spot it is, a Mega Nuke is gonna hurt.
Yeah, so we're just gonna make it so that Cecil goes first, and then problem solved.
The interesting thing is Wyvern...
Gambit. Yeah. What?
The way things are set up is that there are a few bosses, the way this randomizer is set up, that it wants you to be able to go into the underground in a normal kind of logical pace, and we do have a route there with the hook. We know that any intended route to get into the underground and to progress through the game cannot necessarily go through Wyvern or Vivales, or there's one other boss off the top of my head.
Golbez.
Golbez, yeah.
Also, hi.
Well, hi.
Hi, I'm here with a donation.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Scala.
Yeah. Big shout outs to Pepita69, who donated $14 and says, gotta donate during the best randomizer segment, Freen Pride.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you as well to Dreyerwolf, one of our other community members coming in with the raid.
Yay.
Thank you guys so much, and like I said, hey, free enterprise community, let's get over this hump. Let's get over the $3,000 goal donation, guys. We can do it. In the meantime, we do see Gambit is saying, nope, I'm good. Don't necessarily need to go check Baron in. I know the hook route when I see it, and is going ahead and going through Eblin Cave right now.
Oh, and there's Golbez.
Oh, double rude at Baron Hin.
That's kind of where I'm just going, you know what, keep your key item, I don't care. Oh, and there's a red robe there, and there's only one red robe boss in the game. That is the set of Dark Imps, which are, they're Dark Imps. They actually hit really hard on a high melee spot, but they are just a set of Dark Imps. You can do the same thing you would do to any normal set of Dark Imps. They're just normal enemies. And we've got a Tella who is online with all of his good spells. It's that's just gonna melt.
Now, the way Golbez ends up working, in the vanilla game, as long as Cecil is alive through the Calbrenna fight, he will kill everyone in your party except Cecil, and then Rydia comes in to help save the day. The way Golbez works in Free Enterprise is he will kill all but 2 party members. So no matter how many people you have in your party, 2 are going to live. Unless you can cheese it and have some things that make you immune to things like death. So right now we have only 2 of our party alive. We have that Crystal Sword Cecil, which will be really interesting. I don't think it'll one-shot. Nope.
Yeah, it'll 2-shot him. That's fine. And it's also not a big deal if people are dead for this fight, because this spot does not yield any experience points, so it's fine. This better be worth it, though.
Oh my god! Thank you!
Oh, that's beautiful! Like, as you were saying earlier, the soul route underground cannot be behind either of those bosses. It does not mean that you can't have 2 routes underground available. Oh, that's beautiful.
This was absolutely not the intended way for us to get underground, but right now, Gambit is making I'm going to say, poor life decisions at this point. He's gambling on the hook. Normally, it's a pretty decent gamble. But right now, Micro making moves. I'm sure he saw both Wyvern and Golbez, and you got to think any sane person wouldn't go through both of these when you know that it's a hook seed. But it's not a hook seed. I guess it is, technically. The game intends you to do the hook route.
It doesn't intend anything. It just places options, and then, oh, we're still going in here. Might be looking for the character, but sadly, that's just it. Oh, the shops, too, because this is a locked shop. We can get much better items.
Actually, a lot of the J items that we really look for are located in this particular shop. So it looks like we're sorting and going to be doing some selling before we even see. I didn't see on Gambit's end what ended up happening there. So it'll be really interesting because one of the things, sirens are often available in the shop. Okay, Hourglass 2s.
That's a nice find. And I doubt we're going through to the boss with that magma key in hand, but the hourglasses will work on that boss. And looks like he's just. It looks like Yama's just taking the levels from that Mad Ogre spot, and then just pressing back, and hitting up Troya.
That's not a bad decision. The Mad Ogres can give quite a bit of experience, especially when we initiate the life glitch, which we'll explain in a bit. But taking the levels from that and then turning around and being willing to do the twin harp checks now, that's actually fantastic because now he's well set up to be able to do this. His party's not what I would call fantastic. He's got his Cid, his Palom, and then 2 Roses and a Tella. His Tella is online, but this isn't there's no heavy hitters right at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like here that Micro saw what was waiting for him on the way down, and he's like, yeah, no, I've got a magma key. I'll just use this nice, safe magma key. Let's take the save to check those chests properly, and yeah, no need to head down there. Oh, and we are both, I think, heading for the twin harp.
Absolutely, music. So this was one of the donation incentives that this wonderful charity that was put together. We'll see what music we end up finding.
Oh, Korgs is going to touch the Chocobot. And there was a Blitz Whip there. The Black Chocobo Forest, if you take a look, it is shaped like a chocobo, and there's a treasure available in the butt of that chocobo. Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
As we're doing the walk here, I can kind of put on my dev hat and I can explain a little bit about what's about to happen. This is something that's been in Free Enterprise since the very, very beginning. And again, what all you wonderful people donated for was we, in the original game, Edward has a moment of great character development, and he plays a magical song to help you defeat this boss, or at least be able to fight this boss. But his song's kind of boring. Sorry, Edward, but your song is kind of boring. So in Free Enterprise, we randomized the song, and it's different every single seed. Both our main dev, Boardface, and now our composer dev, Calm Lamity, have done wonderful work. And what we like to do when we appear at marathons is we like to tailor the song to the marathon. And so we'll be quiet for a little bit, and we'll let you enjoy. And I'm going to remember if this was a song we've already heard or a song we're going to hear.
Yeah. Sit here petting my local co-commentator, who's a very good girl.
It's a song we're going to hear later on today. There's your hint.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
I mean, Crystal Sword Cecil on an undead. Yeah, that's gonna go fast.
Yeah.
But that was a great Donkey Kong song. Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, great work there from the team.
Calm Lamity had a lot of fun with that one, as you can tell.
Yeah, so we're gonna get a little bit more of that from Korg. Ooh, that's a tower key, which should prove useful later on.
Absolutely. That tower key used to unlock the super cannon location, which does give us another key item. So you can get another key item from going up to the top of the lower tower anyway, from beating what would normally be, Dr. Luge. But that tower key lets us do kind of a 2-for-1 check at that point. So it does kind of incentivize going up that tower.
Yeah, because it's a long hike up that tower to get to the normal regular boss up there. So being able to grab that second one halfway, it makes it a lot less lousy feeling of a check.
Well, Gambit is over here. Does not have a Crystal Sword Cecil. So he's struggling a little bit more with this Mylan Z fight. I was concerned that his party comp wasn't quite set up to be able to do that.
Yeah, because this fight has tremendous magic resistance, so you really have to just beat him down, which he's doing his best. There we go.
So right now, microKorgs, honestly, this is a randomizer. So anything can happen, but microKorgs kind of in the driver's seat at this point. That magma key plus the Crystal Sword Cecil is just doing all the work right now. We'll see what Micro ends up doing once he gets into the underworld. Gambit not out of it by any stretch. I mean, he can get a lot of levels while going through those particular bosses.
Yeah, it's just It is very easy to start off with that particular setup that Korgs has, but as you ramp up with Gambit's setup, it's gonna be a wrecking ball.
And to answer in chat, where was Magma? Just a reminder, it was in Baron Inn behind first fight Wyvern and second fight Golbez, which is super rude.
That's what I get for stepping away for a moment.
Don't ever blink.
Don't ever blink while you're watching Free Enterprise. Also, we had another donation come in from our own wonderful Vistasia with $25 saying, "We can do it!" I think that's another call to all the wonderful people who are watching right now to help us get over that $3,000 goal that SpeedDocsAThon has set to raise for St. Jude.
Hey, I put my money where my mouth is, guys.
You did.
Oh, and are we gonna see? There's one other thing we randomize. It's a social service volunteer at our temp job, Dwarf. In the vanilla game, he's always a farmer, but you know, with everything all just jumbled around and random, the farming game is kind of dried up. So he's got a new job every time.
I don't even exactly know how you would farm in, the underworld with all that heat. Honestly,
I mean, it's volcanic soil though, so it's probably really fertile.
Yeah, but where's the photosynthesis coming from? Like scientifically.
Maybe he's a lichen farmer, Vistasia. Did you think about that? Maybe it's all like mushrooms and everything. Can you imagine how good dwarven portobello mushroom steak would probably be?
And too, I mean, you get if you don't have plants that are able to photosynthesize, you'll get, some sort of parallel evolution. It's a game with dragons in it. I mean, I'm sure they have crops that just have some alternate means of getting energy.
Oh, meanwhile, Gambit is deciding, hey, let's just check these bosses, sees a wyvern, gets a star veil off, so at least Rosa will be able to survive this. Now, there's a good thing about at least only one character being able to survive this wyvern. That makes Golbez a little bit easier.
Yeah, because that way there's no need to worry about who's going to be killed by that, because that's not random anymore. It's nobody's going to die.
Yeah, the only concern is if Rosa can get off a Star Veil before Golbez starts his script and starts just launching spells at us. He does a Virus, he does a Fire 2, and he does a Lit 3. Not in that order.
Yeah, this spot has tremendously low magic attack power, though, so even if something goes off, I think it'll be fine. But I think there's plenty of time to get a Star Veil off here.
And I did not see the...
That was the Adamant.
Oh, that becomes a little bit spicy when we start talking the Adamant and the Legend Sword.
Yeah.
Because that is one of our kind of constant objectives that's available. So we may not necessarily have to do... I mean, we've already completed Cave Magnus. We've already defeated the boss at the waterfall. We just either need the Earth Crystal to be able to complete the Tower of Zot, or now the Legend Sword. It is now a race for one key item.
There's going to be one other thing that they need too, and that is a way to get to the final boss. So we're either going to need a pass or a Darkness Crystal. So it's still 2 items away. But there are some special key items. Meanwhile, he's going in to fight Bahamut. We've got walls to reflect his Mega Nuke.
Now, this is interesting. Bahamut is kind of a free fight at this location because we have so much time to get up Star Veils, which are one of those J items that was removed from the original game when it was ported over to America, but we've added back in.
Yeah, and this spot is so fast too. There is, you're not gonna be waiting too long for all of these to get off. It's got a fair few hit points though, so it can get a bit tricky if you're trying to wrangle having to do this many resurrections. That CPU over there is going to be quick also, just because we do have back row glitched Crystal Sword Cecil. The real slow spot part of fighting that CPU is, of course, that the main body of the boss is in the back row, but we don't care about that.
All right, and Micro does get through. That was an Asura spot, Bahamut, just making it look easy. And Spoon!
Well, we don't really have anybody who can take advantage of that. We've got a, there's Edge who can throw the spoon, which will, of course, hit like a truck. And we also do have a flag enabled called the Spoon Flag, which will let our spoony bard, Edward, use that spoon as a melee weapon. And with that, he will hit like a slightly smaller truck, but he doesn't use it up when he uses it, so...
I think statistically the spoon is the most powerful weapon in the game. Originally, no one can equip it, which is why Crystal Sword Cecil is usually considered the most powerful. But if you can get Edward online with a spoon equipped, he can dish out quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, a Crystal Sword Cecil will still do more damage than a spoon-wielding Edward, just because Edward has noodle arms, but it's very comparable.
I can tell a cute dev story real quick if you want to know. So when we originally tried to program in the spoon, it actually caused a bug in the game because the game didn't know how to handle the spoon's attack power on Edward, and it went over 255, and so then it wrapped back around and underflowed on us. So board had to put in special code just for the spoon to make sure that it would actually give Edward the correct attack power. That's like one of the very few bugs I discovered in Free Enterprise, and I was... Well, because I get so excited to test it. I'm like, all right, spoon time. And then, I get there, and I'm like, it's not doing the thing. I was promised ultimate power. Where's my ultimate power? And then I had to go and run to board face and cry until he fixed it.
Also, I did also see on the donation boards, Scala Kitty, I think, is joining in on the Free Enterprise runs, also donating $14, saying, also joining in the Free Enterprise donations. See, guys, it's all the cool kids are donating. I'm just saying. Not that if you can't, there's any shame. We get it. You're here to
always donate responsibly.
Meanwhile, we do have microKorgs setting up. He's over here in Dwarf Castle. Now, this is another one of the flags, I guess, we enabled, or at least kept a vanilla glitch turned on for here.
And Gambit is about to show us a leg. Look at that beautiful red and white leg right there.
He does not skip leg day, let me tell you.
And we do have the vanilla Calcabrata fight over on Korg's side. This can be kind of annoying here, but I think Pelham's gonna just clean those dolls right out with a handy little stop spell, which... Cecil, no! No!
Bad Cecil, that was not what we wanted to see.
He wasn't even Berserk yet. What was that?
So both of our runners now are doing location checks where we can get 2 key items. Gambit went up to the tower, is kind of following that tower key at this point in time. was able to dodge going through the hook route, which is fantastic. Tower key, you can get the boss here and then turn around and turn in the tower key at the cannon spot. Meanwhile, Micro is going to end up doing the Dwarf Castle spot. Normally,
Uh-oh. There's only the blue dolls left, and they're taking turns. We might get a big doll here if that Lit 2 doesn't kill them both. Which it is not.
oh, this is going to be tight.
Come on,
Anyway.
Virus.
Whew.
Never didn't have it.
Anyway, in the vanilla game, for those of you who didn't know, once you get through this, if you cast the warp spell while still in the throne room, the game doesn't actually know where to send you, so it kind of overflows. And there's magic, early 90s SNES programming that happens, and you get kind of warped into this sealed cave to get the key item that's normally in the sealed cave. So we've reintroduced that, so there are 2 key items that are available on Micro side as well.
A lot of it is that FF4 does a lot of it. Let's set the stage ever so slightly. FF4 is one of the very earliest SNES RPGs, and was the first RPG that Square made for the SNES. It was actually originally going to be an NES game before they moved it all around. And so there's a lot of space-saving tricks because it's a super small ROM. And one of them is that this room where we have the crystal and the spooky hand basically just gets reused in the sealed cave. Basically, this sort of sets a flag, says, hey, now this is the sealed cave. But because doors and floors work very weird in Final Fantasy IV, just warping back just takes you there. And hey, there's a new flag. There's an item that's supposed to be there now.
Absolutely. And Tella, an online Tella, does have warp. One of the other major benefits of having a Tella right now. And that first key item for Micro is, a sand ruby. Not terribly exciting.
Yeah, it's a free character, but there's so many free characters on this flag set we don't really care.
It does help us with our key item count, though. Do y'all want to explain why the key item count is important?
Oh, once we get 10 key items, the experience points we get from fights are doubled, and that's very nice. And we also get a package, which is another key item that just gives us a character. It also does yield another boss, which, if you're looking for a Mist Dragon who will also give us a key item, once that's dead, that can be helpful, but you gotta be really desperate to be checking out a package just for a Mist Dragon.
And that's kind of the land of last opportunity at that point in time. So Micro's checks in Dwarf Castle did not yield what Micro was looking for. Gambit is really, really trying to get through this Rubicante spot. He's hitting hard. Glares, it doesn't matter if it's a low magic spot. Glares still hit really hard. And he's got to have his Palom kind of time the Ice 2s that he uses, because if his cloak is closed, it heals him.
Yeah, and the big thing is that this spot has, because it's the original Dr. Lugai fight, it's keyed to have the hit points of both Dr. Lugai, Balneb, his robot pal, and also the combination thereof afterwards. So there is a tremendous amount of hit points at this spot. And the thing about Rubicante is that the way he's programmed, that glare that he does, that happens every time he phase changes from leg out to cloak closed. And because there are so many hit points, he's doing that a lot. Cecil is just going to chew through this guy, though, so I think Korgs is going to have a much easier time with it.
entirely possible. Meanwhile, Gambit does finally get through the fight, is rewarded with a pass. Now, the pass is actually super nice. In the original vanilla game, the pass, is just the pass that you buy and play it to go into the slightly American censored uh, dancing room for adults only that you need a special pass to get to. What we've done it here in the free enterprise community, though, is shortcut to Zero Miss. Just right there in Troya.
Yeah, so that is our trip to the moon that we were wondering about earlier. So this is just a one key item game now. At least I don't think Gambit has even gone into the cave of the sealed summoned monsters yet. So he does not have that adamant yet. He does not know quite how close he is yet, but it's basically free once he goes down there, so.
We'll get one more key item once we finish exiting the tower. Now, we can't actually exit the tower because there is, of course, in the vanilla game, the script that, ha 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 ha, you thought you could come into my tower, and Golbez breaks down a bridge, and, there's wonderful sequences where people pretend to die. But here, because we would normally get the hook immediately after this, we are given a key item from Sid's helpers who are going to swoop in and help save the day.
Like I explained earlier, plot. There's no plot. Shh, don't worry about it.
Plot is just a mechanism for your delivered key items.
Exactly. You got it. Or in this case, nice clothes.
I mean, sorcerer robes is nice. If you don't have anything else, it's one of the better things. I think Palom or Rosa can use it right now. Tella can use it as well. I wouldn't put it on Tella, but shout out to Dathis in chat. There is a plot. People leaving objective trinkets.
It's true, they are doing that.
Honestly, my favorite little thing, my little touch of polish that Board has added, that we saw with the super cannon room, the tower key room cutscene, is that any of the times when someone would get in major trouble in the original vanilla game, we just use the fact that we can dash now. We just run real fast and run away from the danger. And it's just... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, it does look like we have another donation from Asuka424. Effie friendos are awesome friendos, and Eddie is still best boy. I thank you so much, Asuka424, for that. We agree to disagree.
Ooh.
Best boy.
I thought we had a whole poll and in the chat, and apparently Sid is best boy. That's just democracy. Gotta accept the democracy, Neon.
Meanwhile, Micro is setting up. Does complete that fight and worked through that tower much quicker. We said it from the beginning of the race. That Crystal Sword Cecil doing quite a bit of work for Micro, is set up much better than Gambit as we go through. Although Gambit's made use of everything up to this point in time, is really even on the objectives, and it's a one objective fight at this point now. So it's just who has the efficient checks now.
Yeah, and we are just heading out of the tower now on Micro's side. We're gonna see what Gambit does with these bosses here at the end of the summoned monsters. I suspect he's probably also gonna leave off on that CPU, but that Bahamut is easy pickings.
Meanwhile, it does look like we have microKorgs setting up. Landing in this particular spot, you can land there, or there's other small peninsula areas. Setting up to cast Siren. Yep. There are sirens available in the game, so microKorgs does have sirens. Sirens are kind of an easy grind option at this point in time. These eggs, without 10 key items, offer 32,000 experience points a pop. So we're going to scramble us some eggs real quick and level up.
Yeah, because right now, we're kind of at a point where some extra levels would be nice to have.
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting because this is a grind that basically only exists within Free Enterprise. You could, if you're playing on a version of the game that does include sirens. The original US release of Final Fantasy IV did not, but later releases did add back in a lot of the Japanese items. You can go and... oh wait, no, you can't do that. You can't steal the sirens at this stage because you don't have Edge in your party.
Yeah, you'd have to get them from... Yeah,
well, no, there has another chance you can steal the sirens of Edge, because I did it.
Yeah, you could get them in the giant, if you left, one of the chests from the first trip into Babil, you could, get them as well. You just have to go back in there.
But oh, that's true.
But yeah, like, the only way you'd naturally be able to do that in the vanilla, I think, is just from the giant.
Yeah, wait, Dissatisfied's right. Lower Babil gets sealed off. Are there ones in Upper Babil that you can steal from? Like, just with the random encounters?
I don't think so.
No, because even the Mad Ogres up there would normally give Bacchus wines at that point in time. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, random encounters.
I don't think they're in that pool.
Okay, now I have to, because I know 100% for sure I did this. So
yeah, probably in the giant then.
All right. In the meantime, we have Gambit setting up and kind of equipping. Meanwhile, Micro looks like is setting up to go over here. I think we're just about out of key item spots. Like, we have to.
Yeah, I think this is our last check unless we want to pursue that package, and we don't want to pursue that package.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we could go on demist hunts. You know, in the vanilla game, you know, normally you would get the twin harp from a very free Edward just sitting in the bed there in Troya. We didn't want to make it that easy for our runners, though. So what we did is made it so that as soon as Rydia's mom is dead, she will give us a key item from her body just laying there in the Mist Village. How do you kill Rydia's mother? The same way you do before. Kill the Mist Dragon. But where is the Mist Dragon? We might be on a bit of a demist hunt here before too long. What complicates it as well for at least Micro is we have to make sure to go in the back door of Mist Village, because walking through the front door right now of Mist Village activates that package cutscene sequence, which is just so long.
It's so long. You got like 3 different cutscenes to sit through, and none of them are short.
That is something we would like to avoid. Meanwhile, both Micro and Gambit are on the same fight. I still like Micro's setup a little bit better. Has a few more levels. And also a Crystal Sword Cecil at this point in time. So Micro is going to objectively get through this fight faster.
Yeah, like, this is a really annoying fight to do with a mage-heavy party. It's because of that wall, it's a struggle.
The nice thing, however, is that it's doable regardless. It is going to take a little bit of time, but the attacking Mazer little bit there from the CPU does percentage-based damage. It will every time will do about 10% health to every character. So it's easy enough to heal through.
We're going to see a float bounce on this. We're going to see... Beautiful. Not ideal because it hit the defender, but it does mean that we can safely cast Quake. Because it will leave that one alive. And do a load of damage.
Yeah, that's fun. It's really kind of interesting in that the orbs look like they're floating, but they don't have the float bit on, so they're still damaged by Quake.
Yeah, but float is reflectable, so we just bounce it back over, and there we go. The only problem is because it's the defender, it's still healing like 2900, so it looks like we might try and redo that and like just eat the Globe 199s. And try and do a reset on that so it hits the attacker, or hits the defender, but yeah.
Meanwhile, over on Micro side, Micro was trying to get set up something to make it go a little bit faster as well, in that you can set it up to where you can cast Blink on one of the 2 bits, and then Zerk your Cecil, and just let him kind of go to town and keep that one bit that you want to keep alive blinked. Meanwhile, but does get through it, even though there is one dead Cecil.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get him those levels, but we're through, and what do we have? Oh, it's the pan. That is going to give us 2 more key item checks. We've already seen that the first item that Sheila, Yang's wife, gives is just a Dragoon Spear. Very nice if we have a cane, but we don't. But now we've got a key item coming from the Sylphs, and a second key item coming from Sheila.
Yeah, it's nice because it's 2 key items, and we're at 9 of 17, so the experience is about to double, where we can really start focusing on grinding up to the right level that we need to be. Still only 1 key item away. I think the worst thing that we could possibly find here is going to be that Darkness Crystal, because that unlocks the moon and all of the possible checks we can do up there.
Sadly, I think it is extremely likely we're going to get a Darkness Crystal here.
I tend to agree as well, just because of what it unlocks.
Yeah, because we are bottlenecked right now and have not found it. There's not a lot of other options for the game to give us. Oh, it's an Artemis bow, which means we are probably going to get that darkness from Sheila. And on the plus side, we know that if it's the darkness crystal, there's goodies on the moon. Because there's nowhere else for them to be.
Unless that D mist is still hidden somewhere. That's a possibility.
Yeah, there's 2 spots that are open where she could be. She could be behind that package. She could be the first boss in the Tower of Zot.
Let's not also forget King and Queen Evelyn spot.
Oh, that's true. That is also very available.
Which would just be so rude for this seed.
That would be
double
so
fake out.
good.
Yes! We're going on a deepest hunt.
No,
Maybe.
we good.
Oh, we got a darkness crystal.
Oh.
Sorry.
Dragon Spear. Oh.
Gotta wait for the second one.
We already knew the Dragoon Spear was coming.
Oh. I am so disappointed in myself right now.
It's okay. It's early, y'all. So great, now we get to go to the moon.
Now, the question is, where do we start on the moon? Because we've got options. We can go to Bahamut's Cave of Values. We can start at the top of the lunar subterrane. We can start at the bottom of the lunar subterrane, and some strange people might even start at the middle of the lunar subterrane.
Well, and this goes into just kind of routing strategies in free enterprise in general. Are you routing for optimism? Are you routing for pessimism? We only need one of 2 different key items that are out there, so that you can go 2 different paths and be fine. A lot of runners, I think, would start with the optimum checks, which does mean diving a little bit deeper into the moon and starting with those really easy checks, the ribbon treasure chests, and then the white lance treasure chests, because those 3 checks are right there. Plus, the Masamune altar is kind of right around the corner, so it's the most efficient checks if you're looking for like checks per minute.
It's true, but with 1 key item, a party that we're satisfied with, and 10 key items, I would look to Cave Bahamut first, because if that's our hit, we are in and out. We do not need to even pop that cutscene at the start of the Lunar Palace there, which we are going to first. But that's a one and done. You can be in and out if that's it. It's going to be faster if it's your play, but if it's not, then it's not.
See, y'all. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, y'all are here debating efficiency, and you're all forgetting that there is indeed a 3rd routing choice, and that is routing for means.
I mean, that's true, but...
Oh, there's an edge. That's a very nice find there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point. You might grab your edge instead of Tella. Yep. Okay. No?
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing, and
yeah,
I think
we're swapping in because we don't need that week anymore, because we've got sirens, we've got 10 key items. Tella's uses are done here.
The only other reason I might have kept that Tella, and it's another reason to go to Bahamut Cave, I think, because at the top floor of Bahamut Cave, if you use a siren, you have that 2 King Ryu fight that you siren in, which is one of the very, very nice fights to grind on, because you can life glitch, and because XP is doubled right now, 2 or 3 fights and you're good to go. You're at 0 miss.
And you're going to be more efficient.
Helps get that. Well, I mean, yeah, but now you're already on the moon, so.
It's true, but we're also going to get experience from fighting these bosses, so. It's a valid choice, but I think this is going to be better. It's going to be a stronger overall party. The problem with having Tella for that grind is he helps with it, but then you're grinding Tella. That does not provide a lot of benefit.
It is true. So it does look like Micro is setting up to do kind of that midpoint grind or midpoint check that I was talking about, the ribbon locations and then the white lands. It's very common strategy within the community to start here.
Yeah, just knock off those especially that deluder spot. You get the multiple checks off 1 fight. Yeah, so that's really the most common one to see people take first. Oh, we have no weapons for Edge anymore. I know we've seen a few of them, but we must have sold them. And Gambit is through on that CPU, so he will be heading to the moon shortly himself.
Does get a quick equip of the Artemis bow onto one of our second roses, Evil Wall. Oh.
Ooh.
Is this where we summon? That's what chat said, right? We see Evil Wall and we summon, right? Right?
Yeah, that's what we do against Evil Wall. It's summon.
We summon Titan according to chat. I like how Diablos is one of the choices. Diablos isn't even in this game.
Well, why not? Put him in.
I mean, if you have the Z flag on, maybe you might see Diablos, but secrets. It's not a secret at all, actually.
Yeah, we all know he's in there.
This is kind of a rude spot for the Evil Wall too, because he hits a little hard. If you didn't notice.
And there are 2 enemies worth of hit points stacked on that one spot, so it's quite beefy. And
giving it a second shot, just got to get kind of Berserk and blink Cecil up and let him go to town?
Yeah, we're gonna go for the blink first, which
Oh,
needs Rosa to be alive.
there's jokes in the community about that wonderful board face AI understanding, hey, a Rose is casting something, I must kill it.
Oh, Cecil lived through that first hit, so this might happen now. Just gotta get that blink off on a Rosa also. Uh-oh. There we go. Uh-oh. Cast faster, Rosa.
Yeah, this might be rough.
Yeah, like the numbers are close enough where I might just hit the white spear spot first, get my levels off that. But if this timing works out, we'll see. He's playing nice.
I mean, not that nice.
He's playing fast is what he's doing.
Yeah, this is a very fast and very hard hitting spot for
Yeah.
Evil. Well, I'm with you. I think at this point I back out. I try to get a couple levels because the one thing about this is Crystal Sword Cecil has done a lot of the heavy lifting for you up until this point in time. But the problem with that is that you've almost gone over reliant on it. So you get to a fight that requires a little bit more subtlety.
He's going in again.
Ooh.
This is actually really good for Gambit. Giving him some time to make up some of that lost ground.
True. Absolutely true. It also, if he does different routing. Now, keep in mind, he hasn't done the Dwarf Castle yet, so he's still finishing up his Earth checks. But yeah, it's letting
It's
him
going to
get
be
to
very
that point.
quick on this party, though. Quakes will wipe out those Calcabranas, and that Velvolus is paper on the Golbez slot there.
And chat bringing up a good point. Having that Tela there for some extra blinks might actually be beneficial. But that was not the decision that Micro ended up going with. So, sometimes you got to stick with your decisions. Let's see how this ends up playing out for microKorgs.
Yeah, I mean, a Tela and a Rosa, and two Rosas, I mean, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I mean, two Rosas. Either way, I'm... Like, this is a job for illusion items to get yourself up and running, if anything. And I think you definitely want Cecil Berserked on this. We need him outputting as much damage as possible, as fast as possible.
Yeah, you have to. But man, right now, he's just swinging hard. He's getting 3 or 4 attacks for every time Rosa gets a cast off.
Yeah, this is kind of ugly.
He's playing nice right now, but oh my goodness.
No.
I still don't think he's putting out quite enough damage either.
Yeah, no, this is... Yeah, that's not enough for this spot. Yeah, we're in crush phase. Yeah.
Y'all know this is one of the spots where Edward would be interesting.
I think there's too many hit points.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Here, well, I'll just do the thing. Fun fact, you can have Edward hide, and if everyone else is dead, Evil Wall will start attacking itself because it needs a target. And you know what? Itself is a target, so why not just attack itself? There you go. There's your fun Eddie strats info.
Yeah, we've got a couple hourglasses on hand, so that will let us get some levels here.
Yeah, setting up a grind to be able to get some levels is probably the right thing to do. You've gone against it 3 times at this point. You take a step back and just admit when you need to get some levels.
Yeah, right now it's a matter of hit points. The party needs more of those to be able to stand up to that. And Gambit is through on the dwarf castle, got his big fat pile of nothing, but it is 2 key items.
And that does put him at the 10 key item spot. Is going to be turning in the Sheila checks now. Will be equally disappointed to know that we must go up to the moon. Will be interesting to see what different routings Gambit ends up deciding. This is the point where if you're feeling behind, you might make different routing decisions than if you're playing from ahead as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Players who tend to feel more behind, they tend to do that Bahamut check first, or they may start at a different point. That you see top-down plays a lot more often if people are feeling behind. You're looking at people who are trying to make, do quick checks and hope they're right.
All right, round 4, Evil Wall. Fight!
That tent did not give everybody full hit points, which is going to be a problem for that edge, but we'll see how that goes. So we are doing a lot better on taking those hits. This should go much more smoothly now. Problem with Edge using Image is he gets it at a weirdly high level.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually has the levels to do it. I mean, it's close, I think.
Yeah, I didn't catch if he learned it or not, but I know I always think he should have it, but it turns out he doesn't.
1865 HP. That's a relatively high level. I'd be really surprised if he didn't have it, honestly.
Yeah, level 40 I think they're at now. So I think that should have it, but either way, we're up and running. This fight is happening now, so it's all good.
All right. So still getting through, and now Gambit gets the bad news. Darkness Crystal, get going.
Oh, but he's got his crystal sword. He did not take that Cecil originally. He did not dump him. He's going for his Cecil. Is he? Yes, he is.
Saving beforehand. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, he did get him.
Sitting there wishing, why did I wait this long to do Fabul? Goodbye, Sid. Hello, Cecil.
So are we all in agreement that Rivers is wrong about single dip Fabul in this case?
This was not a use case for single dip Fabul.
I mean, Rivers being right or wrong about single dip Fabul is definitely a quantum state.
Yeah, like, there's points where, I think it's worth at least trying to do it, but if it's not happening early on, then bite the bullet, go to Fabul.
Well, and I'll turn around and counter that in saying that just because you're doing the statistically correct thing doesn't mean you're doing the right thing.
Oh, there's an Earth Crystal!
Wall is defeated, so yeah, we're out. Go mode.
We might. Are we going to see him hit up that treasury? It's very late to go, but we do still need weapons for that edge, so we might see Micro pick that up.
Rate that treasury! Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da.
That is something that we've been doing a little bit more here in the free enterprise community. Of course, with the Earth Crystal, the Troya Earth Treasury does open up. I don't know if we're going to see it, but let's get some guesses. Rate what you think the treasury is going to be out of 10, chat. 10 would just be like the perfect equipment for everyone that you're missing. Probably like get a couple Masamunes right off the bat.
Oh no, don't take the whale there. Don't take the whale there, because we're about to see something hilarious happen when he clears that Earth Crystal.
Oh no.
I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, because...
I'm going to say it's going to be... I'm with Pepita. I'm going to say it's a 6 out of 10. It's going to have at least something good for Edge, but might not have anything else.
I call a bunch of spears.
That would be hilarious, and I'm all about it. Yeah, I want a 1 of 10. Stardust Rod, okay.
Oh,
Eight to 10.
Baby.
8, if not 9 to 10. That was amazing.
We've got top equips for like our top 3 offensive characters. That's an 8 or a 9. Yeah, that's beautiful. Not many treasures in there, but what there were there. Oh, beautiful.
If we had a cane, I would probably put it over the top. But yeah, that was a fantastic treasury.
He has not finished his grind yet, so he still could take characters from the top of Zot. So we'll see. Like, if we get a second Cecil, because we've got swords for that, or if we get a cane, we might see some swaps here.
That's true. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he's done a bit of a grind, but yeah, you're not comfortable with these particular levels. You want to do at least a little bit more.
Yeah, and a fresh character will, even on an egg grind, they will slingshot up the pace, no problem. Oh, yeah, level 45, 46. This might actually be endgame levels for him. We'll see. And Gambit is getting rid of that edge. Oh, it's a Murasabe, not a Masamune, but still.
Still a finely crafted ninja sword. Not like one of the ones you get at the mall. It's an actual ninja sword.
It's true. They're a sword for a ninja.
And folks in chat, I'm going to do one last plug. We are less than $100 from meeting our goal for the SpeedDocsAthon of getting $3,000. Less than 100. In fact, we are $82 away from hitting our goal. Can we do it? Free enterprise community and everyone else who's watching this channel. Can we?
Would be very hype.
I think it would be. Meanwhile, Ogopogo, that's a rude boss to have here in the Earth Crystal in this particular spot because he does percentage-based damage. Big wave, 2 big waves are immediately going to take out half of your total health. It does look like our mind-controlled character is a Porum. I don't anticipate picking Porum up unless we're trying to set up an anchor and...
No, and that would require getting rid of Cecil, which no. Goodbye, Porum, go home. Nobody likes you right now. That's
And
another
twins.
Callum. What are you kids doing in here? This isn't a place to play.
It's like, yeah, no, we're done.
I will say, in front of Demarine, Porub is not good. She knows what I think of Porub. I'm not
Meanwhile-
afraid of her.
Meanwhile, Gambit is doing some king ring grinds, understands that probably a level 1 Cecil, even with a crystal sword, is not ideal for what you want to do. So good on him. Might get some... Well, okay, there's a level 1 Cecil and a level 1 Rydia.
Oh, they will both get some levels off this.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out... I don't know if they'll both slingshot, but...
Yep, yeah, they will.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, double slingshots are very good. And that plague is down. Cecil conveniently dead, so he's not going to screw up any agility anchoring. These are group-ish. They are identical to the group plagues, except there is also the Cave Magnus in the goals pool. Because we would like to encourage people to go to music.
Yeah, other than the addition to Force Cave Magnus, this is identical to our current tournament flags.
And that's a Masamune, which is very nice.
Go to sleep. There's a crystal.
Right under that pillow there.
It was left by the crystal fairy.
The whole time it was there.
And we get its best weapon there, so he will be very nice for that fight. And now we are going to learn... Oh! There's a plan! There's a plan!
Swag Chocobo!
Oh, I was wrong. I should not have doubted you.
Never doubt the swag chocobo.
Also, as we're doing our little fly-in, we do have 2 more donations that came in. One from our own Neon Gray, who donated $12 and just says, peer pressure! And we also got $10 from Tiffany Kessler, who says, so close to the goal. Congrats, CJ, and all the gamers, as well as everyone who raised this money for the kids. Great cause and a fun way to raise money. So thank you all so much. We're so close. We're like $60.
In the meantime, we see a flag with a Z and question mark starting to pop up in chat, which is the other donation goal that was from earlier in this particular in this speedrun tournament. We do randomize the form that Zeromus will take at the very end of all of this. So the question that chat is asking is, whose butt are we going to kick?
Yeah, because there are many butts, and the one we are going to kick is the one all of you lovely people have paid for.
This is so very much like the harp. We looked at the schedule for this marathon, and we picked out a boss from one of the games in this marathon. So we picked, and y'all wanted to see a super boss. So I hope that I did well, and I am sorry if I spoiled something.
Every boss is super in our hearts.
Every boss is super in our hearts, but if you haven't played one of the games that was in this marathon, I kind of spoiled a boss for you, but I promise that it's worth it.
Scala, while I have you, how many bosses are in the pool? If someone were to just play this on their own volition, how many bosses and how many pieces of Edward music are there being randomized?
Edward music, I actually don't know offhand. That list is kept secret for just Board and Calamity. It's approaching, I think, around 200 songs, though, from my vague knowledge. For Zeroma Sprites, it's over 450, and that's as close as I'll get to an actual number. But now the true colors are emerging.
Yes.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh, why? We cannot hurt this perfect boy. Why would you do this?
He's a very, like, the meal fight is a very scary super boss fight.
We cannot hurt this perfect boy. He is sweet and he is good, and he has never done anything wrong in his life.
I mean, to be fair, you fight his clones, is what happens in the super boss fight. So anyway, for people who are catching up, we are fighting a meal from near in the super boss form from Near Automata from the Hetty battle ending Y.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. So we do get our first Big Bang off, and it was successfully nerfed at that point in time. We got a Silk Web off on it. In the meantime, we'll have Rosa. Rosa is set up with a Reflect in order to be able to allow Palom to bounce spells off. As long as you're bouncing spells off of Reflect, the Zeromus, whoever Zeromus ends up being, will not use his normal counter nuke fight. But anytime you're direct casting anything onto him, he will counter everything with a nuke.
Yeah, I think you could have gone meta with this and called it Yoko Taromus.
I could have, but that one, character limits. 2, I had to follow the rules about, well, the rules that I set up for myself. But you know what? It's fine.
He is a super boss.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, so we are just berserking straight through this fight, and we are just ripping him to shreds.
Ooh. I mean, that was a rough little. That's a full Big Bang there.
That's fine. We don't need two roses. We don't need the Palom. We've got Cecil. We've got Edge. They are online, doing the damage, and that will really increase the heals done on that group Cure 4, which is going to be huge because we don't have, I think, any staves to increase Rosa's magic power, so we're fine.
We had at least a silver staff at some point because of Cecil, but yeah, just going to town right now. There was that dart of the spoon.
Yeah, and looks like Gambit is done his levels, so he is gonna probably just head straight for that demon wall and just completely destroy it.
And we have
Tier
Cecil.
4 cares about stats if you're casting it on a group, which we are.
So we do have Cecil who's swinging that Avenger sword. He started out the fight with the Crystal Sword. Swapping to the Avenger does some wonderful things on the back end as well. Pretty much allows him to keep the stats, I believe, and the properties of the Crystal Sword. Just swinging the Avenger, so it's like a always-on Bacchus line at this point in time.
Yeah, it is the best weapon in the game for that reason. That's because Berserk is so powerful in this game. Not only does it massively increase your melee damage, you're also just attacking faster than humanly possible.
All right, so Micro has this fight well under control. Meanwhile, it is on that evil wall fight, probably in a little bit better position from a levels perspective than Micro was when he first started. And there's the flashes.
Got a nice bit of victory fireworks from Emil, who's very happy that and celebrating our victory, and down he goes.
3 days a win.
GG to microKorgs. Let's see if I can get an official time. Yeah, an official time of 1:35:13. GG's to microKorgs for the amazing run going through here. We'll see if Micro's available for a quickie interview. Meanwhile, Gambit gets the Earth Crystal, knows he's in go mode, ready to just run back down to Earth as quickly as possible. Will not be swagging it out, unloading the lunar whale, and just running right over there to the Enterprise ship.
Before we do the interview, we're actually going to do something a little special.
Oh yes, because we do have the means to show us what the other option that you could have donated for was.
Yep. So we're going to be handing stuff over to microKorgs. So we'll do.
Hello.
Oh.
Ooh. GGD there?
Thank you. Boy, that crystal sword.
Ooh,
Say,
boy.
that's a lifting crystal sword there.
I'm not sure if they've ever made a finer sword, and when I saw that, I think that came out of a bowl. I just said, "Oh, really? Okay, I better go to Ordeals."
I mean, you were already heading there anyway. You had both of the him and the Tella. But
Yeah, and then earlier I saw the Karate Man, and I knew that would be, even though it's a relatively easy fight, it would be that much quicker and easier once Cecil was a paladin, whether he had, say, a fire sword or a crystal sword. Either one would work there, but I was happy to get the crystal sword.
ooh, yeah. What did you think of that barren town, though? Those bosses there and that magma key.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out the best way to get through Wyvern with the vanilla agility. I thought, yeah, I thought if I put the ninja hat on Cecil, he would get the first swing, but it turned out putting it on Rosa allowed him to get the first swing. So I would need someone a little more knowledgeable to explain exactly why that worked, but I was very happy it did. I was just going to keep bopping it around till it worked.
Yeah, there's some weird witchcraft in who gets first turns like that, which...
I gotta ask, Micro, for those Baron in fights, did you get to a point where you're like, no, like take the gamble and go ahead and do the hook route?
No, I mean, once I get through Wyvern, I know Golbez there is so slow, and I kind of had a thought in my head. I don't even have to use a Star Veil, especially with the Crystal Sword, and that worked out. So I don't know how many more times. I don't know how many more times I would have tried the Wyvern until I had made that call, because, again, with the Crystal Sword, the hook route probably would have been relatively easy, unless there was some kind of tough agility situation at King Queen Eblin's spot. But yeah, once I got through the Wyvern and I saw the Golbez, as annoying as Golbez is, I know on that spot, with the party I had, that was not going to be a problem. Then, of course, the other problem was the wall on the moon.
Yeah, you beat your head against that a couple times, and then at some point, I mean, it looked like you were close, but then at some point you said, okay, let's just get some levels. Right.
Yeah, because in my head I have that spot as being like somewhere in the 40,000 hit point range, and I'm thinking, well, that's like maybe 8 to 10 swings with the Crystal Sword, and I wasn't quite counting, but yeah, I felt like I was close on some of those. But then I said, I have plenty of sirens, I have a couple of hourglasses, and there's a big grind fight, an easy grind fight, like 2 screens away. And I think at that point I even had the 10 key items, so I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so I said, this is going to solve all my problems with this, I hope. And it allowed me to get enough blinks up to even I took that edge on the moon, knowing I didn't have any great weapons for him at the time, but I got a few levels on him, and he was still hitting for close to 2K with his starting short swords.
And then you went into that Troya treasury room, and that blew us away. We were like, okay, Stardust Rod, Murasame, and then the Avenger Sword to help out Cecil. That was just like, okay, perfect, just before Z.
Yeah. So the first thing was like, wow, there are not that many chests. That was more than sparse 60. But yeah, I was very happy with what I found, especially because okay, there's your edge weapon. I didn't have one for the moon fight, but I'm going to have one for Zot, and I'm going to have one for Z. And then, of course, coming out of Zot, they give you the matching set. So I had the two, vanilla items that you get for Edge on the moon in the two spots, and they were handed to me within, with 10 minutes left in the seed. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, some very nice finds there.
And, the Stardust Rod, I think, was in there to help Palom chip in with his 1 or 2 4K ice threes. It's always, it's not a nuke, but I like getting that little extra bit.
Yeah, no, very nice to have.
The other thought I had was it was a very cruel boss and weapon combo to have it music. That was the quickest Magnus Cave fight it could possibly be.
Yeah.
I know chat was probably rooting for the gauntlet, but I think that was going to be at the Beigen spot, because I think we saw Blue Robe at the start, and then we saw Water Hag somewhere along the way. So yeah, that was in the back of my mind. If I get the Baron key, I got to know what I'm in for. But I guess that would have been nice to see at Cave Magnus instead, to extend that a little bit.
Yeah, looks like I saw that Baron key off the rat tail going by on your screen, but I didn't see where the rat tail was from, so somewhere on the moon.
Yeah, and I was. The one thing I might have done is, if I kept struggling with Wall, I would have hit other moon spots, and I guess I could have. I didn't see where Legend was, and I could have lucked into that, but I was very happy that putting in the work with Wall paid off.
Yeah, I know that was very good, the way it didn't throw you off into some kind of rabbit hole.
Yeah. And, fleeting thoughts, maybe I should go top down, even do Cave Bahamut first, but I said, let's go with the percentage play. Let's go where the density is, and it worked.
Yeah, no, that was very lucky on your part.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and Gambit is also taking the swag chocobo back to Troya, about to go into the fight.
If you want to, microKorgs, would you like to sort of give chat our little surprise?
Certainly.
So this is a little something that I'll sort of pull back the curtain. So we, as the developers, we have these special test ROMs. And so here is what the other boss would have been. So for the final boss, we had Xemnas from Kingdom Hearts 2, where we took the sprite that we had in the Final Fantasy Record Keeper Kingdom Hearts collaboration, and then I went in and I redid it to be his Kingdom Hearts 2 final battle outfit. And I also added in his what's this? There's a very special term that they use for his lightsabers, so that way they are totally not lightsabers.
They're totally lightsabers.
They're not called lightsabers, though. They're officially called something else.
Is it something like photon blades?
See, now I have to go and double check it, because I wrote it down like a smart person.
See, they could, in fact, now legally call them lightsabers.
This is true. They are officially called ethereal blades. And this one is his signature one, which is named Interdiction. Because it's Kingdom Hearts, everything has to have very specific names.
I feel like I dodged such a bullet never getting into that series.
I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts, and I'm going to agree with you. But also we have the alternate harp music.
So the sprite you just shared was really cool, but I'm very happy that the one that won, I have a special place in my heart for humongous sprites.
I am glad that you enjoyed it. Oh yeah, so don't mess around too much in the dev thing. But here you go. This is the other song. We'll be quiet, let you enjoy. So yeah, so that was Dire Docs from Super Mario 64. Calm did an absolutely amazing job on it.
Just a fantastic rendition. Thank you so much.
Now that's a pretty song.
Yeah, Calm's been working real hard to get all the beautiful music he can out of the harp. But anyway, Gambit is here. And making his way through this final boss. Doing a slightly different strat.
Yep, and there it goes. The flash and the shakedown.
It's the power of reflect strats.
Yep. Zero Miss normally has an HP refill as a counter at some point midway through the game because, hey, the game was not able to program the amount of HP they originally wanted for Zero Miss, so he does a counter HP refill at a certain point. But like everything else in the game, if you reflect things off walls, they will not initiate any counter sequence. So there's no HP refill, which means his HP is roughly half of what it was meant to be. But GG's Gambit as well, and also microKorgs. Thank you both for this run. We'll see if Gambit's available as well, just for a quick second.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank the organizers of SpeedDocsAthon. It was a lot of fun and honored to be a part of it, and glad that it's benefiting such a great charity like St. Jude's.
Absolutely.
Can we get Gambit unmuted and undeafened so we can have our very quick wrap up? Hey, there's Gambit.
GG's microKorgs, well done.
GG Gambit.
So, Gambit, would you like to know the difference between the two of you?
You say that, and that makes me think that microKorgs somehow found the Legend Sword somewhere.
I don't know.
No, he just did Fabul defend much, much earlier than you did. And Crystal Sword Cecil puts a lot of work into that early part of the game.
Yeah, I have a tendency in this flag set to fade Fabul unless, until I'm underground, at least can do Sheila 1 with it. And then by the time I got underground, I was comfortable enough with levels to full clear underground before going up and doing the full Reverse McCowan special of 1-dip Fabul. And I saw that Crystal Sword, and I knew where the Cecil was, and I'm like, yeah, I've probably lost this, but at least I'm going to have fun with it.
Yeah, my draw dropped when I found that early, and I said, all right, this is how I'm doing it.
Yeah, I actually left Cecil in the Watery Pass, and as soon as I saw that Crystal Sword, I'm like, hey, cool. All right, there's darkness. I have Sirens. I want to go slingshot a Cecil on King Rius. And that's what I did.
Well,
So you single dip Fabul. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll let you guys go. You're the stars here.
I was just going to say, Gambit went for the single dip, and I actually triple dip because I checked Sheila 1 and reset out of it. So I ended up going 3 times. And in this case, it's one of the rare times it helped rather than hurt.
Yeah, I did a single dip Fabul, and where I lost most of my time, though, was that CPU fight.
Yeah, and I had the Blink and the Berserk Crystal Sword Cecil to help me through that.
I went for float strats and tried to quake them down because I was getting almost 5k on a quake per palm, and I kept missing the float, so I just kind of finally just said YOLO it and just eat the glow 199s and went like that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you both so much for running. We are a little bit behind schedule, so we're going to try to wrap things up here. Any final thoughts on the seed or on this particular event overall?
Just thank you to SpeedDocs for allowing us to show this run off. The Free Enterprise community is a great community, and we love not only showing off Free Enterprise to anyone who hasn't seen it before, but also to do so for a great cause and trying to raise money for charity. So thank you again for letting us do that and letting us put on a great show for you guys.
Yep. Many thanks to SpeedDocs, and thanks to the FE community members, Dathis, Neon Gray, Vitasia, Gambit, and Scalakitty, and the other devs for such a great game and such a great community.
Well, thank you all as well for making it so we can go out and share it with so many wonderful people. But I think now we're going to turn it back over to SpeedDocsAthon and let them get set up for our next run, which looks like it is going to be some F-Zero GX for everyone. So I hope you all enjoy.
Well, thank you, everybody, and good luck going forward.
Thank you for this wonderful showcase. It was a blast to have you. Maybe we'll see you back another time. I know I would love it. I said I didn't have any idea what was coming at me, and I would enjoy it. And you did not at all disappoint. Thank you again. Drop me any links I can plug in chat, or just give it to me because I know I am interested. Intrigued, even. Okay. That is one neat short link. There you go, everyone. Check it out. I tested it for... Oh, oops. You might want to put a www in front of it. Oh. Oops. Doesn't seem to work for me.
There, okay, it's...
Did
There
I
you
do a little
go.
oopsie? Oh, wonderful. Now, that is what we'll do then. Now, this looks amazing. Thank you very much again to both Gambit and Micro for running, Scala and everyone else for commentating, even taking over hosting, but I thought we would give you the complete podium to just... Not HTTPS. Oops. Nah, everything's alright, and we'll take it over from here. Thank you again. This was a great drive for the 3K. We did not completely meet it, but we will keep the energy you poured into this going, and we will definitely get there. Thank you again, and see you soon. I will stop by, definitely.